Hi, I'm Tom, and this is another episode of Extreme Costumes. Today we're going to teach you a little bit about how to make a bow and arrow, prop style. Why don't you come on up here a little bit closer. This is a reproduction of the bow used in the movie Avatar. I made this for my wife last year because I turned it into a blue navy, and then she had to have a cool props bow. Now, I didn't want to make a real bow because I wanted to make sure we could bring it into clubs and win lots of money. So instead, I made a new bow straight from scratch. This is actually made up of 3 different pieces of wood glued together. And then after I glued them together, I screwed them at different points. But I didn't just layer the 3 and then bend it. I bent it and then screwed them together, so that if I remove this string, it still has that curved arch to it. But I had to make sure it was flexible enough so that I could go into a pose and she could still get the full reaction. But it is so weak that if I fire this, it doesn't go any more than 10 feet. It allows for all the great photographs, but it means the bouncers aren't going to bitch if you bring it in. After I created the initial arch shape, I went back in and used these pieces here. These are actually cardboard tubes that I've covered in fiberglass and then painted. The horn arches were actually created with the same foam that you can get over Home Depot and then covered in fiberglass. Very easy to carve with enough fiberglass added in, plenty nice and strong. Little leather strapping to create an element of realism. Little fake leather over here, fake fur, like it actually came out of the woods. Couple of craft feathers, a little nice little wooden dowel, some floor mats carved into an interesting arrowhead. Nothing that's really going to hurt anybody. Each arrow took me about 10 minutes. The bow took me actually about 2 days to make. That's because I did several different layers of fiberglassing and I had to wait between each layer to make sure they dried properly. Then I sanded it down in between various steps, then filled, and it's a great looking prop. In the course of battling it out over the week, we snapped off one of the horns. I haven't had a chance to fix it yet, but it's still a great looking piece. You'll notice over here I created a nub for the arrow to rest on. That makes it easier for your model to be able to know where to hold the arrow. You make sure that you can pull it back so it looks like you're actually going to shoot somebody. You can get it to, let's try that again. One of the things I added in at the end was a little nub point for an arrow to rest on. So when you're drawing it back and forth, it always stays right in that position. That way you can make it look like you're getting ready to fire on somebody, and it has a steady position. I like this piece because afterwards it looks like something you might actually see hanging on the wall. This with a couple of arrows crossed, looks cool at home. And it was a lot of fun to use out in a club. I want to thank you guys for following along on Facebook and Twitter. And if you want to see more toys like this, I want you to click in the new section for props and weapons. Thanks again.